Hi, this is Yolanda Van Veen, and in this segment we're going to talk about how to harvest and store shallots. Now, shallots are a type of onion. They're just a little bit smaller than your typical onion, and they're a little bit stronger tasting. I almost like them. They're better. They have a real sweet flavor. And they're easy to grow just like any other onion would be. So you start the seeds in the spring, right after the last frost. They'll grow a great onion plant with lots of stalks on them and even pretty flowers on top. And the time to harvest them is when the leaves start to turn yellow or brown, just barely. Even when you're watering them, at the end of the season, they start turning just a little bit yellow. And at that point, just dig up all of your shallot clumps and just set them aside on the ground in the hot sun and let them dry naturally. That's the best way to do it, right in the sun. So just leave them for 2, 3, 4 days. As long as the foliage turns really dry and brown, they almost fall right off. Or you can cut them right off after about the 3rd or 4th day. They'll be nice and dry. And then just store the shallots themselves. You can break them into smaller pieces or leave them into the larger pieces, but you store them just like you would an onion. So the best way to store them is in the garage or the basement, somewhere where it's still moist, but below 50 degrees, and not really, really warm or dry. And you can also keep them in the refrigerator if you don't have a better place. And as long as they get some air, a lot of times they can't breathe if they're in plastic. So if you can keep them in a glass bowl or something that has holes in it so that they can get some air, they will store much better. And what I've done with my shallots is I use them fresh for up to 2-3 months after the farmers markets end in the fall. And then by the time winter hits, they're not looking that great. But at the point when they aren't looking good, but they're So what I've been doing with a lot of my onions and carrots and vegetables is I just cut them into pieces and freeze them. And they're ready to go so I can use them in dishes all winter long.